Hello, hello, and welcome to the Color Whisperer show. And happy spring! I know I look like I'm all bundled up for winter, but I just love this sweater. It's so much fun. So, we talk about all things home and healing today in the show, and I'm going to talk about wellness today because I spent the better part of March pretty dang sick. Had a cough that just would not stop. Still have a little bit of it, so I may cough during the show, but hopefully not. It's down to just a few a day, so that's good. But I want to talk about wellness because there's so much that goes into it. It's mind, body, and soul. And I was pretty sick for a while, and I was trying a lot of holistic things, and I got some medicine, and I had all these vitamins out and nebulizers and air diffusers and all these things, and like my house was a wreck. And just like simple things like making dinner was hard. I live by myself, right? So there's not anybody coming in and cleaning up after me. Be nice, right? Don't we all want that little elf to come in and do some chores for us occasionally? Oh, there's no elf on my shelf. So occasionally I like to I'll do the laundry at night and I'll put it in the dryer before I go to bed, and I get up in the morning and it's like, "Oh, the maid came and did the laundry." She never puts it away though. I'll do the same thing with a dishwasher. So I kind of, you know, can feel spoiled a little bit. But things got messy. And I mean, um, it didn't take a long time to fix it, but I just really didn't have the energy to fix it. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about because, I'd look around and I'd sit there and go, I don't have the energy to fix this. And it made me feel worse. And so, I'm like, okay, a little bit, I'll do a little bit today, I'll do a little bit tomorrow. And I started doing this thing. And it's called 927. So apparently it's a feng shui thing. And you've got to throw away 27 things every day for 9 days. So I think I'm on day 8 now. And you would think that'd be really hard. Well, being sick, it wasn't so hard because, there's just stuff that I was lazy. I left out. And you can give stuff away too. It doesn't have to be throw stuff away. Give stuff away too. And I'm looking at some of the stuff. I'm like, why didn't I throw this away? It was because I was sick. I was sick and I just really didn't have the energy. And as I've been doing a little bit of cleanup and a little bit of cleanup, it has helped with, my mindset because I'm looking around going, oh my God, I can't, and I really didn't have the energy to fix it. I really didn't. And the more I looked, the more I saw stuff to do, which made me more tired. You see, it becomes this whole little wheel that you can't get off of. And I have a client right now, and I don't really like calling her a hoarder because to me, the word hoarder involves a level of gross that she is nowhere near. Like when you watch the TV show Hoarders, they find dead animals in the rubbish, and there's piles and piles of trash, and she does have some stuff she could throw away, but she's got all these neat piles, and it's all very organized. And every time she throws something away, 3 weeks later she's like, oh, I shouldn't have thrown that away, and so then that makes her want to not throw something away. And but every time I talk to her, she's like, I'm so tired, I'm so tired. I'm just because her house is a mess. And and I told her, I said, you need to get one room that's not a mess. Just focus on one room. And that way you have a space that that you can feel sane in. Last week I had somebody come over and help me because I was just like, I physically couldn't do it. I'm like, I need some help. And, as women especially, I think it's hard for us to ask for help for stuff like that. It's just cleaning the house. I should be able to do that. It's just something simple. I should be able to do that. But when you don't feel good, it's not simple. I have a friend who's been in the hospital almost as long as I've been sick. When you're focusing on your body getting well, like whether or not the kitchen is clean does not matter. Her entire focus is how to get better. And it's exhausting. And it's kind of where I've been too, is like it's exhausting. And so having somebody come over and help me, and all we did was get one room done. She wasn't here for a couple hours, but we got one room done. And getting that one room done helped me so much. And I was able to work on another room and another room. And that's the thing, is it becomes a snowball, right? Because once you start seeing that it's clean, then you start going, this feels good. I feel better this way. Because all that clutter, it's like screaming at you, right? Somewhere, you've got a relative that's naggy, right? Our moms often are nags because, that's part of their role. Did you clean up your room? So when you let that mess get out of hand, it's like every piece of paper, every cup that's not in the sink, every piece of mail that just wasn't important enough to deal with, all the clothes that just, landed on the couch or the chair or the bed, because getting them clean was all you could do. So then they found a pile somewhere. But they're all kind of silently nagging at you. I have a healing client, and they was a couple, and there was a pretty big, what's the right word, mix up, let's say. Hello, it looks like there's somebody there. Please leave something in the chat if you want to say something. Open to your comments, your questions. So anyway, they recovered from it. But the thing is, there's kind of been this silent, she's still kind of like, she's not physically yelling at him, but she didn't really, really forgive him. He's gone deaf. He's just like, I don't want to hear her yelling at me no more. So he's gone, he's not all the way deaf, but he's lost a lot of hearing. It's not abnormal for his age to have lost that much hearing, but it's how our bodies compensate when things are out of whack. Every disease has something, there's a reason for it. It's our body's way of compensating. It's his body's way of compensating. So going back to my client, she's always frustrated. She's always stressed. And I'm like, please, I'll come over. I'll help you. No, I have to do it myself. I go over there sometimes and working on something, got a couple projects we're working on otherwise. And I'm looking around going, that's trash. That can be put in the closet. That can be put in the garage. That just needs to go, period. That can be given away. But she's not ready. I don't know if she ever will be ready. But she's hurting herself big time because, I told her, "I'll just come over and help you." And so many times in that situation, really, it's not that you need somebody to help you throw stuff away. You know, at this level, you know what's trash. But sometimes you just need the emotional strength of somebody else there. When I had somebody come over and help me clean the living room, I just needed somebody else. I just needed that emotional strength of having somebody else there. And there are a couple of things. She's like, "Jeanette, we don't need this anymore." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." But, I've hired organizers for me several times in my life. And they're like, "Jeanette, you know how to do this. You don't need me." I'm like, "I do. Because I need the emotional strength. I need somebody else here to help me face the wall, the mess." You know? It's like becomes a battle almost, right? So, you know, if you're going to battle, you arm up, right? With whatever that means for you. If you're a knight, you've got armor, you've got your shield, your sword. If you do jujitsu, you've got all the tools of the different katas and whatever other, or if whatever it is, you've got tools. Maybe you're a cop, you've got guns, or you're a soldier, you've got guns, you've got grenades, you've got a jeep, you've got not a jeep. What's it called? You've got a tank to protect you. So nobody goes to battle unarmed. And there's a point where the mess is a battle. And maybe you're mad at yourself. I was. I was certainly mad at myself. Why did I let it get to be this way? And I've got a new neighbor. She came over one day and introduced herself. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what she sees my house as. I'm so embarrassed. Nothing I could do about it. Could invite her over when later on when it's not a mess. But yeah, there is some element of shame and guilt, and it just feels like it's too big a mountain to climb by yourself. So it becomes a battle. And even if it is just a mountain to climb, okay, there's too much stuff here for me to deal with on my own. There's too much stuff here for me to feel like I can grasp it. So even if you're climbing a mountain, you got your tools, you got your backpack, you've got the right tools in place. Years ago, I took this amazing journey and I climbed to the top of Dinky Dome. It's in the Sierras. It's kind of like the very bottom of Yosemite, and nobody's ever really heard of it. And it was something I had never, ever, ever, ever done anything like that in my life. And they were smart. They didn't really tell us what we were going to do today. We're just like, we're going to do this much. I'm like, okay. And so we did this much, and then we did the next part. And there are parts of it, if I had done it by myself, there's no way in hell I would have gotten anywhere near close to the top of that rock. There were first of all, the going up the mountain to get to it was very steep, and then you don't go straight up, you sidewind it like an S. Well, I didn't know that. I know for a lot of hikers, that's pretty basic, but I didn't know that. I'm like, "Okay, I can do this." There were a couple of gaps that I had to go over or steps I had to take that honestly, pretty high, pretty far from my little legs. And somebody took my hand and pulled me. I didn't have the strength to do it by myself. So having somebody who's not in the thick of it. I was sick. I was in the thick of it. I had no energy. I physically could not do what I wanted to do. My client, she's run out of energy. Everything's screaming at her all the time. She doesn't even know. But I go over there and I'm like, well, we do this, 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 we do this. And she's like, you make it sound so easy. I said, because I'm not in it. I'm not in the mess of it. It's not screaming at me. I'm not mad at myself for this mess. I'm not in the trauma that created this mess. Because that's what most of it is. It's trauma. In my case, it was sick. So, I mean, it wasn't really trauma, but I was, being sick for that long, it's a lot. So, having somebody else there who's not attached to the stuff and can look at it and go, do you really need this? She has a bag of old cat food bags, all neatly together in a bag. They're trash. They're trash. She's not going to recycle them. Like, I don't understand. Why are you making this so neat? It's trash. She wants to read the newspaper every day. She's got newspapers all over the place. I'm like, well, I'm behind a month on reading the newspaper. So throw them away. Start with next month. Like, what happened 3 weeks ago is done. Start with today. You know, whatever's happened in the last 3 weeks, well, if you didn't see it, you didn't see it. The world's still moving. The world's still turning. We're still here. We're still alive. Sometimes you just got to cut bait. Sometimes you just got to ask for help. And, this goes way beyond clutter. I can't tell you how many clients I've come in and there's colors that aren't working, literally draining their energy. One of my clients, those were exact words. She says to me, Jeanette, we never go in our living room. They didn't have a big house. They lived in the family room, which was tiny, and they had a good sized living room. And she's like, we hate being in here. It just drains our energy. Wow. I mean, fortunately, she was intuitive enough to actually understand it was the color and the space and what was going on in the room that was causing that. Because most people don't know. They'll just stop using a room and don't even think about it. Doesn't I just don't want to be in there. They don't even think about why they may not want to be in there. And she had a couple 100 feet there. And that's a big chunk of a house to not use. but we got it usable for her. And made such a difference in their lives. I have a story of the little girl who's sleeping in mom and dad's room 5 years after 9/11. She's 9 years old because she's scared to death. She was having nightmares over 9/11. Go in her room, and there's these stripes on the wall, pretty big. And this poor little girl thought she's got dyslexia, so she didn't see stripes. She saw this, and it looked just like the towers did right before they fell. So it didn't end for her. I explained that yellow is helpful in learning. That's why all of our schools are kind of that funky yellow. Yeah. And mom said, there's a lot of yellow in the living room. We can't get her out of there. So this little girl's body understood what she needed. This little girl's body knew the answer, but nobody's brain did. And this was disrupting this poor little girl's life. She was sleeping in the same room with mom and dad. I mean, this was a major issue in the house. How many drugs would she have been on? Oh, she's got, issues. How many therapists would she have seen? Oh, she's got issues. Issues? She had dyslexia. A relatively simple, fix. I mean, it's an issue for sure, and it's got its problems. But the trauma wasn't leftover trauma. The trauma was current trauma. And with just a can of paint, that trauma was able to be removed. And now she had a chance to heal. Now she had a chance to get rid of the trauma. Now she could live in peace. See, nobody understood. See, I speak the language of houses. And this is a great example. This little girl's body knew what the answer was, but nobody had enough. They didn't understand the language. They didn't know the brain connection wasn't there. They didn't know how to put that connection together. And that's what I specialize in, is putting that connection together, creating a space that helps you to thrive. And just like with the clutter, just because you can't do it yourself doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. I have clients all the time. Oh, Jeanette, I just don't know what to do. I'm just not creative. I don't know how to handle this all by myself. And my answer is usually, I have no, I usually by then I know what their business is. I'm like, I couldn't do what you do. Why do you feel guilty for not being able to do what I do? I have no desire to do what you do. Some of my clients are mathematicians, lawyers, science geeks. I don't want none of that. A client, he spends a week on one math problem. Can you imagine? That's his preference. He'd rather do 5 math problems all week than do 50 in a day. My idea of hell. Can you imagine taking a whole week to do one math problem? After 20 minutes, I'm like, I feel like an idiot. Get me out of here. The patience that takes to spend a whole week on one math problem. That's not my skill, nor do I want to make it one of my skills. You want me to design your whole house in a week? Oh, you betcha. I'll do that every day. You want me to do a math problem for a week? Hell no. We all have different skills. And just because you don't have one doesn't make you bad. And just because you need to ask for help doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means you have different skills. And the truth is, everybody is a designer, but just not all good ones. Because whether you live in a box under the freeway or a mansion on the top of the hill, you designed it. You chose the furniture, you chose the paint colors, you chose where things go. I have a lady on my Facebook. She let AI be her designer. She's so proud of the fact. And she bought a new house and she's like, "Oh, I'm doing everything with AI and it's so cool." And I look at the stuff in her house and this was a big leap up for her. And she's definitely seeing that. And it's kind of like, she's a little bit of a kid in a candy store, but she's only seeing the middle shelf. She's not seeing what's on the top shelf. And because she can't see the top shelf, she doesn't know what she's missing. So, she's getting all this stuff and I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay. And when I say she bought a very nice house on the hill, she bought a very nice house on the hill. She could buy pretty much whatever she wanted to do with it. And like I said, it is a major step up for her. But I look at what she has and I know what she could have had. And, but she doesn't know. She doesn't know the difference. She doesn't know what's on that top shelf that she can't see. Because, well, I asked ChatGPT and ChatGPT said this is great. To each his own, right? And ChatGPT's got some good stuff, but they aren't good on everything. And she's even come back a few times and said, "Oh, well, this is what AI said to do, and look at this, it's so wrong, and I don't like it, and da da da." But there's so much that goes into creating a healthy home. And it's not just about having the right colors and the right furniture layout. What about the things that help keep home healthy? Got to work on those too. It's so important. Are you doing things green? Is that important to you? There's so many chemicals out there. And see, the old homes are drafty and it kind of doesn't matter so much. But the new homes, there's no air that gets in them. The cool part is they heat up and cool fast. But if you've got air fresheners, if you've got lots of toxins in your cleaners, those all stay in there too. And so you've got to know what's going on. It's possible your house is making you sick. There's a design legend. I'll tell you the story. It's so funny. So this man comes home one day and he says, "We've got a big, beautiful house on the hill. It's gorgeous." And he comes home to his wife one day and says, "I want a divorce. I'm going to keep the house. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep that. He wanted to make sure she got nothing. He had a new woman, and the new woman was going to get everything. And the old wife, she was going to get nothing. He had the money and she didn't. And he had a fancier lawyer and she didn't. And it's pretty much what happened. But she was no slouch. And she was like, I'm going to get this house back and I'm going to get it back for pennies on the dollar. So on her last night there, she went out and she got some shrimp. And she put it inside the curtain rods. And then she moved out. So then he moved in with his new honey. You know what happens to fish after a few days? It smells. So they cleaned and they cleaned. They couldn't get rid of the smell. They brought in maids. Couldn't get rid of the smell. They spent a fortune on this and on that, trying to get rid of the smell. And the little honey, she was just getting really upset. And, she wanted this big fancy life and this big fancy house, and the house stank, and she couldn't live there anymore. And, after about a month, you can imagine it, a couple months actually, but, it was probably reeking pretty bad. So she said, I don't want this house anymore. We're going to leave this house. You give me a different house. He wanted to please her, so he did. And then he went back to the wife and he thought, I'll get her. She wants the house so bad. She fought him really hard for the house. And she wants the house so bad. See if I can sell it to her, because nobody else was going to buy the house. The realtor, came in. It smells in here. So he says, you want the house? You can have the house. And he gave her a price that was pennies on the dollar. And he says, you want the house? I'll give it to you for this. She goes, absolutely. And so they got in. She got to move into the house. And then she laughed because the new honey was so vengeful. She didn't leave anything in the house. And guess what? She took the curtain rods with her. So the house didn't stink no more, and the new house was going to stink just as bad, if not worse. Anyway, so that's a design legend, and the woman was just too, really amazingly smart. So why did I tell you that story? I really got into telling the story and I forgot why I told you the story. Oh well. Hey Mark, are you listening? I actually have an appointment. I gotta shut things down a little bit early today. Let's see if Mark's listening. Sometimes he just is got a bunch of stuff to do. He juggles a lot of balls. So anyway, healthy homes, that's what we were talking about. And that's why I was talking about the shrimp and the curtain rods, because it was making for a very, very unhealthy home. And it will continue to do so until they figure it out. All right. Hey, Mark. Let's see if I can get Mark. So, wellness is really mind, body, and soul. It's not just about one thing. You've got to look at the whole package. You really do. And your home is a big part of creating that wellness. Whether, you've got a lot of clutter, or maybe you just been sick for a while and you got behind. Sometimes being stressed is the same thing. They have an effect on us. They do. And our home is constantly affecting how we feel, how we live. Oh, I guess I'm hungry. I'm sorry. It's lunchtime. It's lunchtime. That must mean it's time for some Kendu spice. I gotta go get my Kendu spice fix for today. Oh my. What's for lunch? Remember, what was it? Everybody loves ramen at the end. What's for lunch? Some of those dishes looked really good. I don't know what's for lunch today. I'm not there yet. My stomach may be, but my brain's not there yet. I don't know what's for lunch. It depends on what's in the cupboards. So, um, having a kitchen that creates wellness, having a kitchen where you can cook healthy foods and make it easier. I got one of those French doors with a drawer. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you how nice it is to have my vegetables all in that one drawer. I'm eating more vegetables. I'm enjoying making things more with vegetables. I know it's silly, but just having the right tools can make such a big, big difference in how you cook. Having the right space. I had a client years ago. She was redoing her kitchen and she says, "Well, I'm just going to redo it the way it was." I said, "Why?" "Well, it was fine." I said, "Did you really like it that way?" She said, "Well, I don't know." I said, "Well, tell me how you cook." She says, "Well, I make salads every day. I love salads. I eat salads, breakfast, lunch, and dinner." And I said, "What about the rest of your family?" She said, "No, they don't. They eat other stuff. But I have salads, breakfast, lunch, and dinner." I looked at her plan, and she had a room to do an island, a small island, but an island nonetheless. And I said, "Well, what if you took this space here and we made you a salad island?" So you could have your own little refrigerator, under the counter refrigerator, and a small sink, and there'd be room for a cutting board next to it. And you could have room for some plates and some knives and just a couple drawers so that you could have like your cutting knives and some bowls and stuff like that. And you could have all your stuff in one spot. And and you never had to go in the other fridge. And she went, "Oh, Jeanette, that would be amazing." This is why you talk to a designer, because she was going to spend a ton of money just redoing what she already had. I didn't even add that much cost to what she said, maybe a couple $1,000 I added to her kitchen. But how much more joy did she get from her kitchen by having her own salad station? And she could just have everything right there. She didn't have to go to the fridge, go to the drawer, go to the sink. It was all right there every day. How much easier would it be for you to make a salad if that's all you had to do? It'd be amazing, right? So this is what I get to do as a designer. I get to help you think of things that you didn't know you always wanted. She had a kitchen. She never thought about the kitchen. She never thought about what would make it better. She never thought about how she lived in her kitchen every day. She's just like, "Oh, I want a different color. I want a different countertop. I want a different tile." Okay. We got to think bigger. And that's my job, is to think bigger, to help you think bigger, to help you dream bigger. To help you live a better life. How much more fun is she having making her salads from her own salad station? Was her life okay before? Yeah. But how much did we improve it? It really wasn't that much money. So when we improve our world on that scale, we're making life easier. We're making life better. We're creating a space that we can thrive in, that we enjoy being in, that we enjoy being in, that we enjoy doing in. It makes all the difference. Hey, Mark.
How are you doing? I was just in downtown Durham where there was an unusual event going on that you would have got a kick out of because we talked
Yeah?
about before on this show. I was actually eating with a friend of mine. We eat monthly or sometimes we get together. It's a photography friend of mine. But there is a conference in downtown Durham, and it's the Be Whiskered conference. So the furries have invaded. So we have a bunch of people that are dressed in fur outfits. They're dressed as raccoons and foxes and squirrels and rabbits and anything else. So they started it on the 2nd, and I think they're running to the 5th. So the Be Whiskered people are here. I know that they sometimes come to California, they come to Vegas, they come to all kinds of places. But yeah,
Be
they even
whiskered
invade Durham
people.
as well. But yeah, they are dressed up in various forms of outfits as different animals and everything like that. So the Be Whiskered people are in town dressed as various animals that they love to dress up as and everything like that. So the festival is called Be Whiskered or something like that, and they started on Thursday and they're running till Sunday, I think. So Easter Sunday they're running till and everything like that. But yeah, the Be Whiskered people are here and they're
I'm
having a
told those are
party.
pretty hot outfits.
I would imagine for what I saw of the people that are wearing them, they look hot, and it's probably about 80, 90, 80 degrees here in Durham today. So I would not be trying to wear a fur outfit on a day like today, but they seem like they were
Unless
having.
they're doing the Halloween thing and then it's like they're super skimpy outfits, right?
Yeah, exactly. But these were they had tails
Just
on.
with
They had
whiskers drawn on.
yeah. They said they had tails. They had different things on that we're wearing, and I was like you because I've got friends that have been involved in sports and have even known a couple of the mascots. Like here in state, we have Lady Wolfpack and Mr. Wolfpack, and I know that there's Wolfpacks in Las Vegas. I think the Nevada team is the Wolfpack as well, and definitely there are Tar Heels, and which is a ram if I remember correctly, and everything like that. And then of course there's the Duke Blue Devil, and of course we got Woolly Bull and everything like that, which is the Durham Bulls mascot. But a lot of these mascots, even the Hurricanes, have a mascot that's an animal. I'm trying to think of what that particular animal is, even though it's a hockey animal. But Stormy is, I want to say Stormy is either a squirrel. Stormy might be a squirrel or something like that. I'm trying to remember what Stormy is as the animal, but he's definitely a mascot as well because Stormy is the mascot for the Hurricanes. But I do know for a fact that, to your point, those outfits are very hot and they are very uh, they take up a lot of energy because you're in there, you're sweating, you're doing a lot of other things that are not all that pleasant and everything like that. So I imagine that it can't be all that great to be a mascot. I've never been a mascot. I mean, if I was a mascot in my high school, I would have been a yellow jacket and everything like that because we were the yellow jackets when I was in at John Graham and everything like that. So I would have been dressed as a bumblebee or something in that space. But I don't know if you've ever been a mascot or ever thought about being a mascot, but
I
yeah.
have not, but I do know several people that worked at Disneyland and they were in the outfits and they said they were really miserable.
I can believe it because I know people that have also been in those outfits, and yeah, they say that they are miserable as they can be and everything like that. And I'm trying to find out what Stormy is and everything. So it's an ice hog. So Stormy is the official mascot of the Carolina Hurricanes, portrayed as a cheerful ice hog wearing the number 197, wearing the number
An
77.
ice hog?
Ice
H
hog.
O G or HAWK?
HOG, like a pig, wearing the number
It's
side
an
97.
ice hog.
Ice hog, and it's
What is
it,
an ice hog? How is it different from a regular hog?
I think that it's because it's paying homage because Stormy the Hog is paying homage to North Carolina's pork industry because we have a big pork industry as well. So I think that it's just but they're just calling it an ice hog because it's ice hockey. But yeah, it's really paying homage to a pig and the hog and everything like that.
Well, I've got a meeting at 12, so we got to shut this down. My stomach's been grumbling, and I think it's time for some Kenju spice.
I think Kindle Spice would be a wonderful thing, and we'll have some Kindle Spice and get you on out of here and everything like that, so you can get to your meeting and all along those lines. I'm still very. By the way, I was not that far from where you were asking me about when I went to the uh, food hall, because the food hall isn't that far from the place that you were inquiring about, and I'll just leave it at that.
Cool.
So they don't know what I'm talking about, but it was actually near the place. So I was seeing a lot of people that were in a very affluent area and everything like that. So it was actually not that far from the space that you asked me about.
Cool.
So, but let's get on out of here with Kendu Spices, and we'll have a good time. And I'll catch up with you later, and hopefully we'll be back next week with another show. But you always do an amazing job, and I appreciate you and the great things that you do here with the show.
Thank you.
No problem. Here's some Kendu Spice.
You know how people love to enjoy food and don't understand how to flavor their food or how to replicate a meal? They're interested in supplements but don't know where to begin? Well, what I do is I take the guesswork out of enjoying flavor and wellness with my flavorful spice blends so that they can create delicious meals with healing benefits. Can-Do Spice was created to help cooks at any level enjoy healing through food. Every spice blend was designed to give added health benefits of natural herbs. Every blend is complete. There's no need to add any additional spice for a delicious meal. Saving you time and money while adding supplements to your meals can be both tasty and fun. My earliest memories in the kitchen began with my father, Kenny Can-Do Bond, so it was fitting that I would name this line after him. I have always looked to natural remedies to supplement the body, and I found myself hiding herbs and minerals in foods for my family. That's when it hit me. Everyone needs Can-Do Spice. Everyone should be having this. It's an exclusive brand for cooks at any level who want to create flavorful dishes with healing benefits that can satisfy the body and soul. Add a little spice to your life. Give Can-Do Spice a try.